You know that feeling when managing customer reviews feels like a total fire drill? One minute, everything's quiet. The next, you're scrambling. Well, today, we're going to talk about how to transform that chaos into a calm, consistent habit. A routine that doesn't just manage your reputation, but actually builds it stronger week after week. Look, you can forget all those super complex strategies. The real secret to powerful review management, it's actually really simple: consistency. See, too often we get stuck in these random bursts, that chaotic reactive mode where we only jump in when something's already on fire. What we're really aiming for is a weekly rhythm, a process that's smooth, steady, and predictable. That's where you build real, lasting stability and trust. And honestly, this single idea is the foundation for everything we're talking about today. It's just consistency beats intensity. Every time. Think about it like this. Small, steady efforts, that's how you build a skyscraper. But these random, intense bursts, that just creates a teetering pile of blocks, right? It's that daily bricklaying, not the occasional wrecking ball, that builds a reputation that actually lasts. All right, so what actually happens when we don't have that consistency? Let's really dig into the problem with randomness. Let's see how that stop and start approach can quietly, chip away at the very foundation of your business. I mean, does any of this sound familiar? You get a notification for a 1-star review and bam, suddenly it's all hands on deck. Or hey, maybe you launch a big marketing campaign and you're like, oh yeah, we should probably ask for some feedback. This whole stop-start thing is so common, but it's kind of like trying to fill a bucket with a leaky hose. You're just always losing that momentum. And this is the feeling that whole approach creates, right? On one side, you've got that constant nagging feeling of being behind, just buried under a mountain of feedback. It's so stressful. But on the other side, you have control. The whole task just shrinks down to a simple, manageable checklist. You're not firefighting anymore, you're fireproofing. Okay, so how do we escape all that chaos? The answer is simple: rhythm. By turning this whole thing into a routine, we make it manageable, we make it lighter, and, this is the most important part, we make it sustainable. So, let's take a look at how to do that. But what does a simple and effective routine actually include? I mean, what are the core actions you need to be taking every single week to make this a reality? All right, let's break it down. Okay, here's the framework. It's a simple 4-part weekly routine. First up, you check for new reviews across all your platforms. Simple enough? Second, you respond to all the reviews that need a reply. This is huge because it shows you're actually listening. Third, and this part is really strategic, you spot any repeating patterns or themes. Are lots of people mentioning the same thing? That's gold right there. And finally, number 4, you review if your collection activity is still active. Is your system for asking for new reviews still up and running? You see, this one little routine transforms your review management from just some passive chore into a truly active system. It's not just about reading comments anymore. Now it's about engaging with your customers, spotting those issues before they blow up, and actively steering your reputation in the right direction. All right, now for the good part, let's talk about the payoff. What happens when you actually stick with this simple habit week in and week out? This, my friends, is where the true power of consistency shows up, and it transforms those small actions into massive results. Just look at the difference this simple shift makes. The before state, it's a stale profile, you've got delayed replies, and you're missing issues that are just left to fester. But the after? Wow, it's a living, breathing profile. You've got fresh reviews coming in, attentive replies that build real trust, and you've basically built an early warning system for your business. And this chart, this shows that compounding effect perfectly. See, random effort gives you these little temporary bumps in trust, but they fade out fast. But a weekly routine, that's like making steady deposits into a trust bank. Every single week, you're adding a little more, and over time, that interest just compounds into a really powerful, credible reputation. I absolutely love this quote. Routine creates visibility, and visibility prevents drift. It's so true. A regular process just makes sure that important feedback never, ever gets buried. It keeps you plugged into what your customers are actually experiencing, and that helps you catch those tiny issues before they turn into huge, reputation-damaging problems. So when you boil it all down, this is about way more than just a checklist. It's about a fundamental shift in your mindset. We're moving away from just doing an activity and toward building a real system. And what do I mean by a system? Well, it's a process that's managed by habit, not by urgency. It becomes a non-negotiable part of your weekly operations, kind of like running payroll, right? You do it because it's Tuesday, not because a fire alarm is blaring in your ear. It is the very definition of being proactive. And here's the bottom line, really. Businesses that build habits will always outperform businesses that just rely on good intentions. I mean, we all intend to stay on top of reviews, don't we? But intention? It fades. Habits? Habits are what drive real, consistent results week after week after week. So let's be absolutely crystal clear on the goal here. The goal is not to create some flawless 50-step, super impressive process. No, the goal is to build a simple process that actually happens every single week. Because a simple system that you actually use is infinitely better than a perfect one that just collects dust on a shelf. So I'll leave you with this question to think about. Right now, at this very moment, is your review management built on a simple weekly routine? Or are you still just relying on memory and those random bursts of urgency? Seriously, the answer to that question, it can change everything.